Hello everyone, it's Sabrina from the Comba family. Today we are going to talk about the apps that I have my children use for homeschool / unschool. So let's get started. The first one that I wanted to talk about is Epic. Epic is the one that I keep track of most because it allows the parent to keep track of and get notifications of how often the student uses it, the scores that they get on their quizzes, and all of that. So this is a paid app. It is $7.99 per month, and then you can also pay $71.99 per year if you want to do the yearly route. And the reason why I love it so much is because it's kind of like flawless for the parent. So I don't have to be like, oh, okay, let me check their Epic every day after they're done using their phones. They both have an old iPhone that they use for school purposes. So I don't have to go to their iPhones and check how they have done. I get emails from Epic and it'll say, oh, Georgina did a great job, or Safari did a great job, or oh, they've hit this badge or that badge, right? So it has different badges. Safari just hit her 100 book badge, which is awesome. And Georgina, we are still working on that. So Safari loves to be on Epic and she takes all the quizzes. I don't think I've ever gotten an email saying that her quiz was less than 100%. The quizzes are usually between like 2 and 5 questions, which I think is definitely not enough, but that's my opinion. And then they can also pick from all types of different books. So I've recently told Safari that she can't pick any books that say under 8 years old. So it usually goes off of like age of the student or whatever. So it'll say like 6 to 9 years old. Or if it's like a general book that's just like a how-to book, it might say 6 to 12 years old, right? I told her that she can't read anything that says under 8 years old. So it has to be 8 to 12, 8 to 9, something like that. And one aspect that I allow Georgina to use on the app that I don't allow Safari to use on the app is the audiobook aspect. And Safari really doesn't like that I don't allow her to use this, but Safari is in a position where she can read pretty much anything that's put in front of her. If it's a hard book, like a chapter book, she's reading Royal Doll books, which is large chapter books, you know? She was reading the Kissing Booth trilogy at one point a couple months ago, you know, and those were physical books that we bought her. So she's at a really high reading level, and that's based off if she's reading a book that she wants to read or not, of course. But there's no reason for her to listen to audiobooks. I'm sure some people would disagree with me, but I just don't think that it's teaching her much to listen to a book when she's able to read and understand a book. On the other hand, Georgina is not necessarily able to read and understand books fully. She's able to read a lot better than you might think, especially knowing that she didn't speak English 6 months ago. But she's not able to understand everything that she's reading, and also when she reads, she might not understand one word or how to sound out one word, right? So then, for example, she was reading The Wizard of Oz. So then you ask her, who's the main character? Of course, that's like a basic question, right? And she'll be like, I don't know. And it's not necessarily because she doesn't know, it's because she can see that word, Dorothy, in her head, but she can't sound it out, right? So she'll be like, I don't know. You know, so you know that she's read it and she saw the word. She just can't pronounce that word. She did that with the book Thumbelina too. We went to the bookstore and she read the abridged version. It was like a level 5 book, I think. She read the Thumbelina book, and then I asked her a bunch of questions about it, and she wasn't able to tell me Thumbelina's name, but she was just like, so she really reads these books and understands them, but sometimes she doesn't get critical information because she can't sound it out. So the audiobook aspect is perfect for Georgina. So that is the first app that I really enjoy using for both of my children who are at very different levels. The next one that I like is called 4th Grade. So the letter 4, TH, and then grade. I'm pretty sure this is on the iPhone and on Android, and it is a great app. It has so many different features on it. The main subjects that it has is math, language arts, and science. And within those, they each have 7 different categories based off of 4th grade material, which my children are technically 2nd grade in Kenya, because in Kenya the grades go until December and then January starts a new grade. So technically they're finishing 2nd grade right now, both of them. So these, in certain aspects, they're a little too advanced for them, but in certain categories that they have, it's perfect for them, especially when we start teaching them something and then we're like, okay, so we just taught you fractions, now go to the 4th grade app and look at the fractions section, right? So for math, it has fractions, remainders, angles and geography, word problems, patterns, graphs and grids, and timed facts. So the timed facts one is the most interesting one to me for our future studies, because they are very slow, both of them, when it comes to multiplication problems or even addition and stuff like that. When I was in school, we used to do the minute tests, right? The lollipop tests, right? And that would be 1 minute, and you would do as many of these 100 problems as you could do. And my children are not there. I think they would probably be able to do like 10 of those problems in 1 minute, not 100. So I'm trying to get them there. So the time facts would be great. Then in the language section, we have missed vowels, synonyms and antonyms, spelling, punctuation and grammar, homophones, reading, craft, and structure. So that's the language section, and I really like the spelling aspect of it, because what it does is it gives you the letters for the word. So say there's 7 spaces right here because the word is 7 letters long, then it'll give you the letters down here mixed up. So you have to look at those letters, and then it'll tell you the word, and then you're like, okay, the word is structure. Okay, it starts with ST, and then they have to think about it that way. So I really like that section. And then in science, we have the earth, life science, weather, electricity, magnetism, moon phases, and forms of energy. So in those, they have done the earth and life science, I think, thus far. But we are doing more so of an unschooling than a homeschooling now, so they are able to go on whatever they want and learn whatever they want. We still give them structure, especially Georgina, but they are just able to go, and if Safari wants to go on Google and research something random, she is able to do that. She usually talks to us about it because we ask her, oh, okay, what did you learn today? Oh, okay, that's cool. What are you going to learn tomorrow? And we're trying to make sure that she still gets the different subjects in her learning, even though she's picking what she's learning. We might say, do something in science today. Anything, right? And so then she might go and do moon phases, right? Something that she decides, and thus she's going to learn better from picking herself. So that's a really good app also. Okay, so for math, my 3rd app that I really like is multiplication. That's what it's called, just multiplication. And it is 1 to 12, the multiplication table. And so it gives the student, and it's not timed, it gives the student the multiplication equations, right? And they have to come up with the answer. It gives 4 answer options, which I don't like, because I would rather have my students or my children type in the answer instead of just guessing from the answers. But it does have a streak up at the top, so it'll say your streak is 25, your streak is 50, right? And if you get one wrong, your streak goes back down to 0. So when we were telling them that they needed to do multiplication at a certain time when we were homeschooling, then we would say your streak needs to get to 100 before you do something different. So that was really useful to us. The next one is language. So we do Duolingo, and yes, I do pay for Duolingo. So I wanted them to do Duolingo so that they could do Swahili, because we live in Kenya and that is the national language here, English and Swahili. So that didn't work out so well. They really don't seem to react well to us saying, you have to learn this, right? And Georgina knows Swahili pretty well. Safari doesn't at all and doesn't seem to show much interest, but they seem to show slight interest in learning different languages. So Safari was saying that she wants to learn French. So she switched her Duolingo to French. And that's very hard for me as a parent who is kind of overbearing sometimes and wants to tell them what to do, because I want them to learn Swahili because that's the country that we're in. But I have to support them in what they want to do because they're going to learn better if they get to choose, right? So Georgina, I think she switched her Duolingo to Chinese because I want her to be a linguist. So she has that in her head, and so she's like, I'm going to learn 6 languages. I'm going to start with Chinese, so I just have to support them in whatever they're choosing at the moment, which is sometimes difficult because I feel like they don't take it as seriously as I think that they should. But if you guys have any tips for that, please let me know. Okay, so geography. I don't have any geography/history apps that I love yet, but there's 2 here that I want to mention. So Africa Geo. And this app is one where it shows you the map of Africa with the different countries, but it doesn't say the country names. So then it'll tell you a country, Kenya, and then you have to go and look for Kenya. It doesn't say the Kenya name on it. You just have to know, okay, where is the geography of Kenya, right? And then click on that one, and then it'll say, okay, you're right. Algeria, okay, click on that one. Okay, you're right, and it goes like that. So I like that one, and then I also like flags and capitals. So that one does the whole world as well as the US also. So you could do like the flags of the US, and then it will give you a flag and it will tell you like which country is this flag from, or which state is this flag from, things like that. So that one's good too. And then the last one that I wanted to mention is letter quiz. And if your guys' students are in the same age category as my students, 8 years old and 9 years old in 2nd grade, then this one might not be so applicable to you. However, I have a student that does not do well with writing at all. Like, her writing is horrible. So I have this app, Letter Quiz, and it's for writing skills. So this one is great. We need to get her a stylus so that she can be writing on the app instead of just using her finger, which I don't think helps so much. But I think if we got a stylus for her, then she would be able to write on the screen, and that would help her with her writing, and that's what we're trying to do. We also got her workbooks that are for kindergartners or preschoolers, but it really helps with her writing A a bunch of times, writing B a bunch of times, that kind of worksheet book. And surprisingly, this is not Georgina. Georgina does very well with handwriting. It is Safari that has a hard time with handwriting. In schools in Kenya, they usually take the first 30 minutes to an hour of every day, and they have the students write different things, like copy different things off of the board, and the teacher will get very angry if their handwriting is not done well. And of course, nobody wants to get in trouble, so they make sure that their handwriting is better and better each day. But Safari hasn't had that in her schools, so she is the one that struggles with handwriting. So those are the 7 apps that I wanted to discuss in this video, and I will make sure to list those down in the description so you can go ahead and look them up on your iPhone or your Android. And all of these apps are on iPhone and Android because our daughters use iPhones to do their schooling, and I have an Android, which I have all of their apps on as well, just so that I can use them myself and make sure that there's something that I want my children to use. So please let me know what apps you guys use, and if I missed something that's a game changer for homeschooling or unschooling, I would love to hear it, because we're always open to new ways of doing this homeschooling, unschooling situation. We are definitely not pros, and we are learning as we go, but it is becoming more and more natural to us as opposed to the beginning, which was a little tense. So please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!